Hello and welcome to the Solve Network. My name is Shane Borza and I'll be your host. Along with my co-founder Benjamin Goss, we'd like to welcome you. Our mission is to provide solutions and create a network of experts for you to learn from. Now this show is a little different than most podcasts, as it is actually a live call held twice a month. If you can, please join us on the first and third Thursday of each month so you can get your questions answered live and direct from the experts themselves. If you're an expert, please contact me at shaneborza.com so you can be a part of the network. And now, here's our show. Today on the Solve Network, we have our guest expert, Jennie Poppenger, who runs face-to-face marketing and is an expert in Facebook branding. If you want to know more about advertising on Facebook, setting up a Facebook business page, or simply how to connect your business to the people you already know on Facebook, then you don't want to miss this episode with Jennie. Hi, I'm Shane Borza, a climber, creator, and coach, and I want you to build the skill of health and fitness. My new course is a priceless gift to you, and it's available exclusively on ponoquest.com. That's P-O-N-O Quest.com. Build the Skill is a minimalistic, functional, real-world fitness program which can help you to move better and get stronger faster. I can't wait for you to check it out, and when you do, please let me know how it helps you. That's Build the Skill at ponoquest.com.
I never considered myself to be an entrepreneur until I found myself laid off from a radio station as their business development director in 2008 during the recession. And while I was there, the radio station told every employee across the nation, you better get on Facebook right now because the future of radio is not in radio, it's online. And of course they were right, because today you can stream to any station in the world online, which is a fantastic thing. You know, our soldiers serving in Afghanistan can stream live to their radio station back home if they want. So I got on Facebook kicking and screaming. My teenagers were already on it, but I was not an early adapter. When a coworker helped me create an account and I saw what it was, I was just amazed. I was like, there has never been a tool this powerful before for connection. And I know a lot of people are into the Enneagram thing. Well, I had my strengths analyzed, and one of my top 10 strengths is connector. So you can imagine how my brain was just firing when I saw Facebook and what it was and its potential. I believe if you're a business owner today or the leader of a nonprofit, you have a community group, anything, if you're not using Facebook, you're missing opportunity to connect with people. And that's the greatest value I see in Facebook, is that it allows an opportunity to connect at whatever level you want to connect with people from anywhere. Very exciting. So today, Facebook is still the big daddy of all the social media platforms, and there's good reason for it. It's because it has so many different options. Today, you can go to Facebook Marketplace and shop in your own local area or find highly specified items. You can order your food from Facebook and have it delivered to your home without picking up a phone. You can schedule an appointment with your esthetician for your facial if you'd like, without picking up a phone or sending a text or an email. Facebook is making it easier and easier for businesses to connect with people and make their lives easier. So, a few years back, I went to a social media conference that had an expert on all these different areas of social media. So there was a Twitter person, a LinkedIn person, a Facebook person, just everything, right? I was really surprised At the end of the day, there was not a single person who explained to the audience there why Facebook went crazy. Do you know why? Thoughts? Okay. Well, up until Mark Zuckerberg created that like button, all marketing had been what I would refer to as interruption-based marketing. You never went to your mailbox hoping to see direct mail. You never turned on the TV just to watch commercials, except for the Super Bowl. You never drove down the interstate in your state excited to see all the billboards, right? You never opened your inbox just hoping for spam, right? You never bought a magazine just for the ads, right? So when Mark Zuckerberg installed that like button, he gave you, the consumer, power for the first time ever. It was no longer interruption-based marketing. When you click like on that Starbucks or that Skittle page, two of the biggest brands on Facebook, you gave them permission to talk to you, as long as they didn't do these three things. And they're the same three things that we all try to keep in mind, like if we're going to a party. Don't bore me, don't irritate me, and don't hard sell me. If you do any of those things, I'm going to need to go use the restroom, or I just saw somebody I know, right? I need to talk to. So as long as you don't bore, irritate, or hard sell on Facebook, once somebody clicks like on your business page, then they trust you to talk to them whenever you want. But they want you to be interesting and offer them something of value, right? The number one reason people like a business page on Facebook is because they think they're going to get special deals or offers. Now, that's not always true, but that's where their mindset is originally. So let's talk big picture again. Was that revealing to you to think about why Facebook became such a big game changer? Not only the connection, but also it gave you, put you in the driver's seat for the first time, okay? So big picture again, Google owns YouTube, right? Your time and attention equates marketing dollars for them. They don't want you ever to leave Google or YouTube, right? Facebook is their largest competitor. So you've seen some big shifts in the last few years. Mark Zuckerberg went from privately holding Facebook to making it public, and now there are shareholders, and the shareholders want to make money. How could we blame them? And so the playground is still free, but if you're a business and you have an account on Facebook and you want to make money, you're going to have to pay for that. It's still some of the cheapest marketing and most effective targeted marketing you can get. So what Facebook is doing now to shift that so that you don't want to leave Facebook is they changed the algorithm. And I bet you know what I'm going to say, right? They are pushing organic video to the top of the algorithm to compete with YouTube. So good luck trying to find a YouTube video on Facebook anymore, because even if the business promotes a YouTube video, it's just not going to do as well as organic video. And what do I mean by organic video? What you record right here with this. Yep. And the more authentic it is, the better. So that doesn't mean that it should be shoddy work. You still want to make it as professional as possible. I don't really recommend that you script it unless that's like you're really nervous, but there are so many little things you can do. This little guy here, $6 at Hobby Lobby. You clip it to the top of your phone or to the top of your laptop, and it makes it look a lot more professional. The lighting is so much better. as I see Shane doing, you can use headphones when you're recording videos or a mic, and that can help a lot. You know, when I was in radio, they said we were going to do live broadcasts for customers, you know, for businesses. And that's one of the secrets of radio, is live broadcasts rarely are actually live from the scene, from the site, because it's really hard to get good audio from the site. So they'll record an interview with the business owner in advance, and then sometimes use some background sound on the video they record in the studio over the phone. So I don't know if you knew that, but Facebook Live videos are video on steroids. If you want to get the most views, that's the way to go. I don't know if you've noticed this yet or not, but a lot of the news stations are trying to use Facebook Live, sometimes with really embarrassing results, because not every story is worthy of a live Facebook video, right? And also, I'm sure that creates a lot of struggle, conflict in the newsrooms where they're used to having some editorial power. But if you go Facebook Live, you don't get to reshoot or edit or anything. But in some cases, it's worth it. One of my workarounds with Facebook Live is I like to show where I am without necessarily having the video on me. So my husband and I like to go hiking in the mountains. I'll take a video there in the mountains to show people where I am and how beautiful it is. By the way, it's a balmy 11 degrees in Denver today.
That's really cool.
I know, and it's been snowing for like 27 hours, so.
Oh, Lord. No, it's cold.
But so I like to do that live video because it does show people where I am right now. It shows them what's happening. You know, you could be at a farmer's market. You could be watching a show. Sometimes I've done it from like a live outdoor concert, and that's kind of fun. So I do think there are a lot of applications for live video that people have not even begun to really utilize in creative ways for their businesses yet. I also love, remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? We all watched it when we were kids. I always tell my business owners, if we're going to do a video, do you have anything we can use show and tell with? Because like right now, I'm a talking head, and guess what? You're a talking head, and I could show you some fun things, you know, and that makes it a lot more interesting, right? I could show you over here Facebook Fred. He's a pen. He's a suction cup. He's a buddy. My sister, who was a flight attendant, took Facebook Fred on her trips. She'd take him with her in her bag. And then when she was someplace fun, like Central Park in New York, she'd pull out Facebook Fred and show him dancing or enjoying whatever was happening there. And then I would post the video to my page, and I would say, guess where Facebook Fred is today? And people really enjoyed that. Just the fun nature of it. And they just like to respond when it's playful like that. So probably the last thing I'll talk about, and then we'll do some Q&A, is the strategy that I use for my business pages. So right now I'm professionally managing 19 business pages on Facebook. That's a lot. When I was in radio, I managed 45 accounts, but that was often, you know, do the creative, write the content for the radio ad, get it recorded in the studio, and then it would play for the next 3 months or 6 months. Facebook marketing day to day is a whole different game, because every day I have to think, okay, how do I speak in their voice for this account? So here's a trucking account, here's a restaurant, here's a therapist. So it's really different with each client, right? The tone and the personality and the content, all of it. So when I started face-to-face, I really wanted people to trust me that I could do content on their pages that would be fun and interesting. So I created a digital strategy sheet. I do a 1-hour consultation with each new client. And I say, well, here's numbers 1 through 20. If you were going to post on your business page every day, every business day of the month, that's a lot of posts. So what's your strategy for that? So I came up with the 3 E's to break it down, okay? 70% of the time you're going to educate. Tell me who you are, what you do, why you do it, how you do it, right? So those can be content posts, they can be videos, you can do polls on Facebook. There are just so many options there, right? You can do contests, giveaways. I always say to use a lot of testimonials because it's better to have someone else brag on you than you brag on yourself. Links don't work on Facebook very much anymore because people were overusing it and it was boring the public. So they just weren't really clicking on the links. So Facebook sent those down to the bottom of the algorithm. So now if you post a link, good luck getting like 10% of your friends to even see that post, right? So 70% of the posts, we're going to do what?
Educate.
Educate. Good job, Ben. So you don't run the risk of boring, irritating, or hard selling with educating, right? Consider it like this. You have expertise in your field. I'm out on the golf course with you. I'm going to pick your brain, right? That's kind of what we're doing, but on Facebook, when we're experts in some field, is we're offering helpful, friendly advice that they don't have to pay for, right? So you don't have to give away anything big or important, but you're going to be their trusted ally that they go to. So 20% of the posts are going to be the next E, and that is entice. And an enticement is any call to action. So some people have really overdone the begging thing. Please like my post, like my post, like my post. And people are just like, whatever. If your content is good, they will. If it resonates with them on some level, they're going to share it without you suggesting it. A share has a monetary value of $2.75. That's impressive. And why is that? Because of the power of what I call the inferred referral. Okay, 80% of people say they don't trust traditional advertising, but what do they trust? A referral from a friend. Well, when you like a post on Facebook for a business, or when you comment on it, or when you share it, people can see that. And that becomes an inferred referral. So if there's a company that I follow and I interact with them and share their posts sometimes, people, if they believe I'm a trustworthy person, then they're going to take interest in that, right? So inferred referral, does that make sense? A lot of times people they undervalue how important that is, but it is critical to doing well on Facebook. So let me get back to entice.
Did you say that was
call to action?
Did you say that was $2.52 or $2.75 a share?
$2.75 a share.
Wow, that's huge.
It really is. Now, some people are what they call influencers, and they have a really big audience to talk to. That's why you're seeing people being paid as influencers now, right? So that person who has 100 to 200 friends and they rarely post, or, that person's not their share isn't going to be as valuable. Or I'm sure you've seen the people who post 30 times a day. They share everything they see. It seems like, the power of their post isn't going to be as great as someone else who's maybe like posts 2 or 3 times a day and is a little bit more thoughtful about what they post, right? Okay, so entice. Any call to action, not like, comment, or share. Okay? Those are no-nos in my book. So entice is come to our open house. Vote on which logo you like better. Please visit our website. We just had it redone. We'd love to get your feedback. Entice is what would you like to see more of on our page? We want you to enjoy what we're doing here. And if there's something you love, please give us some feedback, right? What would you like to see less of? Oh my gosh, restaurants seldom use this, but they really should, because in enticement, a call to action is asking for a response. What would you like to see us do differently in our restaurant? One restaurant in Westminster, Colorado posted that, and one of their regular customers said, well, I'd really love it if you always had your marinara sauce hot, when you have it over on the side. And so the restaurant implemented that one little change at the suggestion of a regular customer. Everyone much happier, right? Entice could be read this small excerpt. Let us know what you think. If you're going to link to an article now, consider putting the article in the first comments instead of in the body of the post, right? And tell them that it's there. So entice, it can be 10% off this month. It can be help us celebrate our birthday with, it's our 15th anniversary. We're going to give you 15% off this item and show the item. So entice does not always have to be buy, right? Is that coming across pretty strong? So here, I'll give you another example. Starbucks is seriously one of the biggest brands on Facebook. Pumpkin spice latte. They show a picture of their cup, and within 30 minutes, they'll have 30,000 likes on that post. They didn't offer a discount. They didn't ask people to comment, like, or share. But because that specific product has a huge following, people get excited about it. Now next month, they'll have their new holiday cup, and they'll debut it, and then you'll have people complaining that it's not this or it's that or whatever. But they get people talking, don't they?
They get it right.
Okay, the last E is enchant. And I take that cue from Guy Kawasaki, formerly with Apple, who says, it is no longer enough in today's economic culture to simply satisfy your customer. You must enchant them. And to me, what enchant means is you go beyond, to bring a smile to their face, to tell them you care about them. So that can be sharing a fun video. It can be sharing something silly that happened behind the scenes at your work that week. Like, can't believe I did this, right? That's the way it goes. When you know better, you do better, right? Anything that's going to bring a smile to their face. So 70% educate, 20% entice, 10% enchant. I see you, Shane, are part of a nonprofit by the
so this is actually the life coaching school that I got certified through, and I now work for them. So it is a for-profit, but it's education.
Okay. I can tell you that when you're part of a nonprofit or an organization such as yours, the rules do slightly change because you can play to people's emotions more. So for instance, a nonprofit I work with has an event coming up next week. We have been promoting that like crazy on their page in different ways, right? We show a picture of the venue, a picture of the food, We show video of the board members excited to go. I want you to come with me, right? That kind of thing. But we're probably overdoing it a little bit, maybe hard selling a little bit, but it's a nonprofit and people will forgive you for that. They know you're passionate and you're an evangelist for the cause. So you can go, it's even like a 60% educate, 30% entice, and 10% enchant if you're with a nonprofit. So I hope that has been kind of a fun down low on Facebook and what's working right now, what's the big picture, and even some really specific minutia that you can use to make your page more successful.
Is there any particular, are there any particular tactics or strategies that like you had worked with more than one, let's say, business owner or maybe professional? Like, is there something like, I don't know, 60 or 70% of the people do this and this works really well? I mean, anything a little bit more, I don't want to say granular, but.
Yes, people. The more my pages use pictures of people and real people talking and sharing their experiences, the better the pages do. And that doesn't matter the type of business. So the electrician I'm working with, I tell him, Mark, I need pictures of you and your people in the field working on specific jobs. That way, when we talk about how your company offers this, we can show a real picture of a real person. So even from our infancy, babies are fascinated with the human face, right? Businesses that use a logo instead of a human face, if it's a corporation, I totally get that. But if it's a smaller business, a face is going to work great. Have a spokesperson or the face of the nonprofit there in the profile picture, and people will connect more. It's just the way it is. So people.
Is there a difference in terms of the amount of interaction that people get with, like, let's say, no picture versus a picture versus video, or does it just depend on the content of your post? Or is it a little bit of all?
I'm pretty sure you remember my rule about that, Ben.
Yeah,
I say,
well, I may be feeding into that one a little bit.
I say never let a post go naked. Just don't do it. Never, because, if a picture's worth 10,000 words, or is it 1,000 words, then why would you create a post that doesn't have a picture? So the first thing I do when I start working with a new client is I create a library of 10 or 12 images that fit that business.
That makes a lot of sense. Another thing that I remember you telling me about before, but maybe you could talk about it a little bit, is the ability of, or like, I haven't done it recently, but I know you at least used to be able to get super targeted. Like, you could get your ads, or you can boost your ad. Like, I don't know, the terminology's kind of changed a little bit from what it was a while ago, but the ability to like I don't need my post to be live to potentially 300 million people and then 5 people see it because I wasn't trying to advertise 300 million anyway or whatever.
Yeah, you hit on two different things there. For one, I boost pretty much every post I create. If you don't boost it, only about 10% of your people are going to see it. If you do boost it, for even $1 a day, you're going to double that or triple it. If you get any comments or likes or shares, it'll just keep going up and up, right? So who can't afford $1 a day per post, right? So the other question, targeted advertising. Just like a binocular, the tighter you zoom in on your subject, like if you're a sharpshooter, the more you are likely to hit it, right? Same thing with marketing. So here, I'll give you a for instance. Today, I talked to a new client. He's a financial planner. He does taxes. He doesn't want any more tax clients, but he is interested in working with more people who are close to getting on Medicaid because he wants to be their financial planner, right? So we determined that his ideal client is 64 to 70. They're slightly more female. They should be within a 15-mile radius of where his business is in Longmont, Colorado. And I always like to find one other common denominator that they may not have thought of. And the one I'm going to use is they must like Dateline, the TV show. Because do you know anybody in that 64 to 70-year-old age group that does not watch Dateline? So if I don't get them on any of those other specifics, I'm going to get them on that one, right? Because Facebook loves when you put in those super specific things. Another really fun example of that, a lady who sells tiny dog accessories, right? She was tired of going to the store and all the accessories were for bigger dogs. So she started making and marketing her own. She wanted to sell some through Facebook. So she already had a nice customer base on Facebook, but I wanted to bring more people to her page. At the time, the celebrity I could think of that was most famous for their penchant for tiny dogs was Paris Hilton. So I targeted females over 25, expendable income, right? Who live in Santa Barbara, who love Paris Hilton, right? So with that type of specific advertising, you can find how many sales you got from that area. Isn't that cool?
Is there such a thing as being too targeted, or?
Yeah, if you don't want to run the risk of, not bringing everybody in that you want to go after. But, if I said they have to like Dateline and Golden Girls, that might be too much.
Gotcha. Okay. One of the questions I had was like, obviously there's a lot of apps that kind of interact or integrate with Facebook. Like I'm trying to remember, I think Woofu is a voting or poll option. There's SurveyMonkey. Groupon was one that I was thinking about when you were talking about offering discounts and that sort of thing. Are you in favor of integrating apps, or does Facebook have enough native apps that you really don't need to do that, and it kind of would reduce your overall interaction? Or any thoughts along those lines?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Facebook really wants you to use their marketplace if you're selling something, like personally, right? And you'll get a lot of views. I sold a foosball table in less than an hour on Facebook Marketplace. Oh, wow. It's crazy. It's the wave of the future. I really think that. Other apps, I can tell you, some of the larger agencies use third-party apps to post because you can pre-schedule. And what I've seen is that those, like Facebook will let you use them, but it's not going to get you as good of results. So use their own pre-scheduling app if you really need to do that. But my experience is the posts that I create right now, today, do the best. So, it makes sense for you time-wise to sit down at the beginning of the week and map it out and do them all at once, right? But I've seen that when you create a post on that day, like I like to have my finger on the pulse of what's happening today and post something like that.
Do you find that some of your clients are more interested in vanity metrics than they are, like, I don't know, measurable results? Does that ever become like, and when I say a vanity metric, like, oh, we had, 5,000 likes this week. We're up 20% from last week when we had 4,000 or something. Like, are people differentiating between activity for action's sake versus like, I don't know how easy it is. I guess it depends on your what should I call it? Depends on your product, your service, or whatever, as to whether or not you can tie what you're doing directly to Facebook. I mean, obviously, if you run a Facebook promotion, you can see that. But do you find that there's much feedback, requests? I mean, what's your average person concerned about? I want 20,000 new followers, or I want to make an extra $5,000, or they want all that and they don't really know how to ask for it. I mean, are you finding that people are leaning a particular direction, or they're looking for specific help as to one or the other?
Yeah. Well, Facebook is so easy to track. Not only can you see on pages that you're not an administrator on what the results are, likes, comments, shares, right? But you can go in the back door as an administrator and see really specific things. Where are your people from? Who's not there that you need to be there, right? I say good organic growth on your page is 10% per month. If you've got 100 people, try and add 10 every month, right? You've got 1,000 people, try and add another 100 every month, keep growing all the time. At the end of the year, those are some great results to add up, right? Do Facebook likes, comments, and shares translate to increased business and bottom line? I can't answer that. I don't see my clients' books, right? But they tell me they're getting more customers. They tell me, oh, I was at this networking event. This person said, I love that post you did this week, because the person doesn't know that they're not the one doing it, right? So they're getting that, what we used to call in radio, top of mind awareness, right? So when you need a lawn person, you're going to remember the last person you saw, right? The one that's freshest in your memory, or mechanic, or whatever it is, right? So, and I can tell you in Facebook marketing, we do have to see how it affects their bottom line, but oh my gosh, it's so much easier than when I used to sell radio. That was really a hard sell. Because unless this person was super diligent about tracking every new sale, then it was really hard for me to quantify. So
I've got another question that was related to that. So I hear you talking about brand awareness, top of mind. I know what I was going to ask you. So, if somebody's thinking about, should I hire somebody should I outsource my social media? Should I keep it in-house? Or if let's say either I'm a startup, or maybe I'm like a realtor, or obviously 20% of Americans have an MLM or something like that, right? They've got their side hustle or whatever. I mean, how does somebody make the decision to, let's say, hire Jennie to manage my page? Like, how effective is that versus trying to have somebody in-house do it versus let me try to manage it myself? How well does that go? I mean, I'm sure you have at least a gut level reaction to that, but if as a follow-on, in addition to your instinct and your exposure, are there any statistics that you can see out there or is there anything that somebody could kind of hang their hat on and say, oh, well, Forbes or Entrepreneur said blah, 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 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sadly, I don't have a statistic for you. I can tell you just...
I don't think one's necessary. I'm just curious if there is one. Sorry.
I haven't seen one recently that would say, people who do this should hire professional, and people who, I haven't seen a percentage or a stat like that, but there are some businesses that are... I don't want to use the word uptight because that sounds maybe a little disrespectful, that are very particular about what they post and when and how and why. And those are a little bit more challenging for me to work with. Only a few have asked for a social media schedule ahead of time. Those probably aren't my people in most cases because, like I said, I like to bring a lot of fun and flair to Facebook. What are they going to do next? That kind of thing. So I I was joking with you when you originally called, Ben, about there are some businesses that might not work so great on Facebook, like mortuaries, funeral homes. None of us like to be reminded of our imminent death. And some industries have really specific guidelines about what you can and can't post. Like I have a mortgage lender that I work with. We never, ever discuss rates on their page. But that was really the only rule that they gave me when I started with them. And I can work around that, right?
Do you find that you're planning out content like a month in advance, a week in advance? Does it just depend on the client? What's that look like?
Well, I tell my clients, hey, you can email me or text me as often as you want. It's going to go into your folder and I'll pull it out and use it when I need it, right? Some things like business anniversaries, I like to plan in advance. The esthetician I work with just had a business open house to celebrate her first anniversary. It was very successful. So I do meet with my clients for 1 hour a month. And in that 1 hour appointment, I find out what they like, what they don't like, what they want to see more of, what's coming up. And I try and get 2 videos for them during that 1 hour. So it's a lot to pack into an hour. But I find that hour of communication keeps the lines open. And then they, like I said, they can text or email me as much information as they want during the rest of the month to share on their page. So like one page I manage is a local newspaper, and she sends me tons of content, but that's the nature of her business, right? So that works. A lot of people in the financial industry are really particular too and want to manage their message and the information they share.
Is there anything that you find is particularly similar across your most successful clients versus maybe clients that aren't clients anymore? Like they just didn't work out because either A, they didn't understand something. I mean, setting aside, obviously not every client needs to be our client because we have personality clashes or like I'm going a different direction than you. So setting that aside, I mean, obviously everybody has clients like that. But if we just look at like, you know, utilization, utility, understanding what you do, what you bring to the table versus like they just didn't get it, it didn't work. I don't know if that question's clear enough, but
yeah, some Facebook it's just not the right space for. So for instance, like this was kind of early on and I didn't know kind of how to like weed out businesses that weren't going to work or how to tell them that. And I tried to bring them in with very low expectations, but there was one that was like a pest control company, mostly with insects. And, you know, who wants to like that page?
Some ants.
I put in a valiant effort to no avail. It wasn't the right space for them. And I'd say, you know, Facebook, even if you have it professionally managed, is a lot like if you belong to a church or if you belong to a networking group. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it, right? So if you belong to a networking group, you joined your local chamber of commerce and it costs you $300 a year or $500 a year or whatever, and you never go to the business after hours or the monthly lunch and you're not part of any group within the chamber, it's probably not going to work for you. I bet every chamber president would say that. You have to at least show up sometimes, right? And Facebook is kind of like that. I can be the behind the scenes doing it for them, but they have to have at least a little bit of skin in the game. Like, you know, give me some direction, you know, give me something to work with, something to play with and have fun with. So
got it. So in other words, outsourcing it and not paying attention to it probably isn't going to work.
No, it's going to be too dry. Remember the 3 rules: don't bore me, irritate me, or hard sell me. As So you're definitely in the bore area if you're not going to participate at all.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Solve Network with Jennie Poppenger, the Facebook marketing expert. We are going to have a bonus episode next week with an extended discussion and Q&A with Jennie. So tune in to see if your questions were asked and answered by our guest expert.
Scene one, Apple, take one.
Hi, I'm Shane Borza, your content creator coach. I have 2 books on filmmaking, Film Notes, where you learn to write, direct, and produce, and the Film Notes Workbook, where you can learn checklists and paperwork to streamline creating your content. Available at shaneborza.com. I also have filmmaker resources like the Paperwork Bundle with over 300 documents, the Sound Effects Bundle with almost 3,000 files, and the Music Bundle featuring 900 tracks of all genres. Want to build your professional credits? Become an associate producer and get listed on IMDb. Let me help you get your art out into the world.
Scene one, Apple, take one.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Solve Network. As a reminder, these calls are held live on the first and third Thursday of each month. If you'd like to join us as either a listener or guest expert, please contact me at shaneborza.com. On behalf of my co-founder, Benjamin Goss, we're glad you are a part of the network and hope you are finding solutions. If you need solutions, please reach out.